Hello everyone, welcome to the temple. For today's reading, we're going to be getting messages from your emotional body. I started a series where I'm going to be going through each of your auric layers and just tuning into the energies to see what's going on. Hopefully to help you all get a better understanding of your energetic makeup and what's going on, to help you filter out any densities, any lower vibrations, so that you can come into a more healthy alignment with your truth. All right, so for pile number one, we have this card here, and that is with the Phosphosiderite heart. For pile number two, we have this card with Angelite, and for pile number three, we have this card with Atlantisite. All of them in an "ite," right? It's so funny. Okay, so pause the video if you need more time to meditate. Welcome to your reading, pile number one. Okay, you guys were drawn to this card. I had to cover it up with this little baby heart because she is undressed while she's getting a massage. So, yeah, just for YouTube standards, I don't want to have to say that this is for 18 and older. And you were drawn to the Phosphosiderite heart. I love this stone. It's very good for opening up the causal chakra, the one that's the divine feminine here. So let's see what your message says on the back. Ooh, it says healing. Imagine yourself and your beloved surrounded by light. Feel your relationship being healed this very moment. Ooh, beautiful. So we have healing coming through. Let's see what else wants to come in for you guys. I guess I no longer need this little baby. We'll put it there. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on in the emotional body. We'll pull a few cards. We'll get a couple tarot. I see the three already. Pile number one. What's going on in the heart, emotional body here? And when it speaks about a relationship, this could be the relationship you have with yourself, with your partner, anyone that you have relations with. All right, those wanted to come out. All right, let's take a look at these. We'll get more cards later if we need to. We have Venus with an offer. Romance, love, beauty, creative arts, wealth, harmony, attraction, and an offer. Ooh, can y'all hear that? That's rain. If it gets too loud, I will just cut it off and resume it after the shower passes. Toxicity bound, addictions, patterns, energy, vampire, trauma, bond, and stuck. Okay. Let me try to slide this over a little more. So, we have Jupiter with action. All right, so I feel like there is an attachment in the emotional body, and it has to do with the sacral chakra here, with the Jupiter and Venus with your heart chakra coming through. The way that you relate to others and have relationships with others, the way that you love yourself, there is some toxicity there. There may be a pattern that has to do with addiction, and addiction comes in so many different ways, and our sacral chakra is where we develop addiction, and it has to do with the feeling of lack, our low self-worth, not feeling valued, supported, or loved. And there could be people in your life that you are in relationship with, and it's not necessarily the most healthy relationship. It could be that you both have experienced you know, a particular hardship or something that was very traumatic, and it has created that bond, but it's not exactly the most healthy bond. And there can be I feel like this, sorry, I just bumped my table. I just heard empaths. So some of you may be empaths, and there may be this tendency to over empathize with others, and that makes you almost like a doormat to narcissists, like a magnet for narcissists to take advantage of you, to prey on your kind heart, and to put themselves in a victim mode so that you constantly give to them and nurture them. And it's not something that fulfills you. Like, I feel like you don't get enough, you don't receive love back. You kind of get a lot of gaslighting, or feeling put down, feeling like you're not enough. And it is something that may be preventing you. I mean, I'm confident that it's preventing you from having a healthy relationship, not only with yourself, but with other people in your life. We have trust and mystery. Yeah, you have a hard time trusting people. I mean, and that's understandable, especially if you've been in relationships where people just want to take from you. People want to, you know, just always attack you or put you on the defense, where you constantly feel like what you do is never good enough. It's not seen in the light that it's been given. And I feel like, yeah, you have a hard time receiving pile number one. You have a hard time knowing your worth and your value, because you haven't seen it reflected in your reality. You haven't seen it given back to you in your relationships. And it is because the first relationship you need to have is the one with yourself. That's the one that's the most important. And it requires you to not ignore your feelings and not to overlook red flags. Or when your heart or your intuition, your gut instinct is saying, oh no, they're lying. Oh no, they're doing this. They're deceitful. They're betraying you. They're lying to you. They're manipulating you. We're constantly being given that information. And I mean, I'm not judging you, because I have been this person myself. We're always shown those red flags, and we're always getting those little inklings, those nudges that say that they're lying, or you know the truth, and that we constantly make excuses for their poor behavior. And we always try to, like, our mind wants to rationalize it away, why we need to, like, overlook this, or why we need to constantly forgive them, because, oh well, the mind says, well, they've been through this and they've been through that, you know. And so our heart is like, okay, I can be forgiving, I can be empathic, but we need to, our mind may be seeing the other thing. Our mind may be saying, they're lying, they're full of crap, you know, they're deceiving you, they're betraying you. And the heart's saying, you know, well, no, they've had a hard time, and, you know, we make these excuses and blah, 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 because we want to avoid that conflict. And so we end up, like, poo-pooing our feelings and ignoring our pain out of our love for someone else. And I feel like your heart, your emotional body, it's taking a toll on you. I feel like where you're not attracting that partnership, that relationship, because there is that lack of love for yourself there. And you're being guided to heal that, to surround yourself with love and light, and know that you deserve to have a relationship that's more in alignment with who you are and the type of love that you give. Yeah, connections, partnership, contract, and commitment. And this individual, you know, and this can be your relationship with your family, your relationship with your parents, your relationship with a partner, you know, that you're in relationship with. And there's a reason why they are there. They're there to teach you lessons about your worth and your value, and not settling for less than your worth. And these are karmic relationships. They're there to teach us. Like, there's been karmic relationships usually are people that we have incarnated with many, many lifetimes, because we're trying to correct the imbalance there. Like there's been a, I would say somebody felt that they were done wrong, that they were taken advantage of, and there was never a correction in that experience. You know, like somebody took and this person didn't receive. So there's an imbalance there. And so we incarnate while we're trying to find that balance, while we're trying to finally say, you know, all right, thank you for this. We're no longer going to, you know, battle with each other anymore. I'm not going to take from you and you're not going to take from me. There's no more exchange anymore. We're trying to get to that place of balance and healing. And what that requires is for when there is this, you know, a blow up or something like that, for us to finally say, okay, we're done. We're walking away from each other. I've learned all I can from this relationship and from this experience. You've been teaching me a lot about how I need to learn to love myself, where I need to set healthy boundaries that says, no, if somebody does this to me, then I'm going to stand up for myself and I'm going to say, I'm going to vocalize my needs and my wants and how I feel. And if that individual isn't, you know, open enough to hearing it or to changing because they want to be in a relationship with me, then I need to choose myself and walk away. Because I deserve love, I deserve respect, I deserve honesty, I deserve, you know, open, trusting, loyal, loving type relationships in my life, because I'm worthy and deserving of that. You know, it's where you learn your worth by meeting people who don't treat you like you're worthy. And so we learn from those people, from those connections, from those experiences. We learn a lot about what we don't want and what we do want. From the experience of lack, we know where there's a void, and so we need to fill that void. And we want to fill that void with our own love, by loving ourselves enough to say no and walking away. We have ancestors. Yeah, I feel like this is definitely something that has been generational, been passed down. We have card number 29 and 28. So we have 1111 here, and 1111 is about being in alignment with your truth, with your destiny, your purpose. This is part of the reason why you incarnated, was to end this connection, to let go of these toxic relationships, because you are worthy and deserving of something so much more. And it may be something that you learned in childhood. You know, we learn through examples that were shown either by our parents or by society or television, you know, the social programming, to tolerate things. We learn what love looks like through watching, you know, other people. And we adapt those certain belief systems. We're like, oh, this is what love looks like. This is how we're supposed to, you know, tolerate abuse. We're supposed to tolerate being lied to and tolerate, you know, people taking advantage of us. That's love. No, it isn't. I mean, you can forgive and you can understand and have compassion and empathy, but it doesn't mean that you have to self-sacrifice your needs, your wants, and your desires and your heart for somebody else. You can love them at a distance. You can wish them well. You can teach them those lessons that love doesn't just keep tolerating abuse over and over again. I love me enough to say that I don't deserve that, and to give you space to heal from that, because no matter the amount of love that you're giving to them, they're just, you know, using it. They're not appreciating it. They're just, you know, throwing your heart on the ground and kicking it around, and then making excuses or blaming you and saying that, well, it's your fault. I didn't ask you to do that, blah, blah, blah. You know, you just did that on your own. And, you know, it's so toxic and so sad that that's how people rationalize why it's okay to treat you that way. And then we rationalize why it's okay for them to treat us that way. Well, because they had a horrible childhood. Well, I'm sure every one of us on this planet has experienced something horrible and something traumatic. And there's a lot of us that don't use that as an excuse to take it out on others. You know, there should be an appreciation for the people who are there for you, who support you, who love you unconditionally. And when that's not reciprocated, it's time to walk away and to cut those cords and say, that's not the type of love that I want in my life. I want somebody who treats me like this. And to know that you're worthy of getting that and deserving of having that in your life. And so somebody has to cut the cords. Somebody has to say, enough's enough. I can't do this anymore. And to let it go and to move on. Some people just love the drama, and unfortunately, like, you grew up in a household where it was very, there was always something going on, always something dramatic, always something loud, always something to fight over. That became like your normal. And when you find the opposite of that and you experience, let's say you go to a friend's house and their parents are very loving, they're very supportive of one another, they're very compassionate, they enjoy holding hands, and there isn't this big, huge fight or argument when they disagree about something. They compromise and they work things through because their goal is to be together and not to tear each other down. And you experience that for you, that's something foreign. It's something you've never seen before, and it doesn't make you feel safe because it's something that's unknown, and maybe something you want, but you don't know how to achieve that because your only example was this, right? But you do have another example. You have another way. There is another way. There is another road for you, right? We don't have to adopt these types of patterns and behaviors for love. That's the type of love you don't want. And so it's learning to follow the path of your heart and what feels good versus what doesn't feel good, and choosing to act on that, okay? Follow your heart. Letting go, and it's okay to let go, and if letting go serves you both, there's nothing wrong with that. And it can be the hardest thing to walk away, especially if this is family, because family, we're born into those families, we have strong bonds with those people because they are our blood, right? And there's that saying, blood's thicker than water, but that's not true, because we don't get to choose our family that we're born into, and they can treat us like dirt. They can call us names. They can belittle us and put us down and make excuses why it's okay for them to betray us and hurt us, and be like, well, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? And if you're that person who's very empathic, which I feel like you are, we love them because there's that core of love from who we were as children. But as they get older, they're making conscious choices, and they're choosing to treat you that way. And so you have to make conscious choices too, to say enough's enough. I don't deserve that. And to be okay walking away, and to know that if they miss you, if they want you in their lives, that there's a certain level of respect they have to have for you. And there's a way that you are, you teach people how to treat you, right? And so if you're saying it's okay to treat me like crap, and to lie to my face, or to yell at me when I ask you a simple question, or to make an excuse why it's okay for you to, honor your friend over me when I'm your family and I've always supported you and you choose them, it's okay to set a boundary and say no, you know what I mean? And if they care enough, then they would want to work on the relationship and not make excuses for it, okay? And that's how you'll know somebody truly cares and wants to be in relationship with you, is because they don't want to lose you, So you got to be brave enough to walk away and to let go. Whew. We have accept your destiny, embrace the unfolding of your journey, and trust that each moment is leading you to your true path. Okay. So there is a new path opening up for you, and you have to be brave enough to let go and to step forward. Pile number 1. We have face your fears. Yeah, confirmation. Fear is a teacher, not a barrier. Face it head on, and it will lose its power over you. See, and if we have this door that's opening up, and the light is revealing something that was a shadow, your fear, and it's revealing that it was only a little kitty cat, it's this small little thing here. And that's where fear trips us up, because when fear means that we are afraid that we're not good enough, we're not worthy, and fear is the shadow. It is the young version of us that experienced something painful, and it has been ignored for a long time. And so it feels very heavy, and especially when it's starting to rain now, you guys. So if it gets a little too loud, I'll probably have to cut this off and then resume it when I get back. But there needs to be a release, a cleansing, a healing, allowing yourself to feel those emotions of the past that need to be released, so that you can face that fear. And that's all it is. It's mainly sadness and hurt, you know, and it wants you to validate it, to say, yeah, that was my truth. This happened to me and it hurt me so much, you know, and it's okay to feel that way. You have every right to feel that way. And then give yourself a big hug. If you felt alone, like nobody cared, nobody was there, give yourself the biggest hug so that you don't feel alone. It's like a version of time travel. You know, you're going back to that moment where that wound first occurred, where you felt alone and nobody was there, and you become that person. You be there for yourself, and you give yourself a big hug and say, it's okay. You have every right to feel this way, and I'm never going to let that happen again. And you heal that wound by facing it, by nurturing it, by understanding where it comes from. And then once you do that, you can let it go, pile number one. Healing is not easy, and this is why people are so afraid to face that shadow and that fear. But it is the most liberating experience, and it will free you from having to be trapped in these cycles and these patterns over and over again of settling for less than your worth, because that fear is no longer controlling you. Ooh, look at that. And you have that lion, that fierce lion. Awaken your power. You are more powerful than you realize. Awaken to your true strength and step into your potential. Ooh. All right, I'm going to pause the video for just a second. The rain settled down. All right, so this is you empowering your inner child. You being brave and confident in yourself and knowing your worth and your value, and being strong and confident. This is your mountain to climb here. This is the journey that you're meant to go on, to find your truth, to discover your power, and to be confident about your worth, you know, because you deserve to have love and to have passion, to have new experiences, to have these opportunities, to go on a new adventure here, to find more positive connections that help you grow and expand, where you're each committed to each other. And we have learn from pain. Beautiful. Pain is a catalyst for change. Allow it to lead you to deeper wisdom and growth. That is beautiful. And so we have this plant that's growing from this rock, you know, and it's cracked and split open so that this new growth can come in. And it's just confirmation about the hurt, the pain. The break is where the light comes in so that you can heal it. And you're being asked to go to the origins of that pain, to when you first felt this way, where you first experienced these types of toxic relationships, and to see the truth of the situation, you know, and to empower yourself to be brave and confident and to walk away and letting go, and knowing that you deserve more. Pile number one, you deserve people who love you, who support you, who put in the effort, who care when they hurt who care when they hurt your feelings, you know, and who apologize and they change their behavior because they want to keep you in their life. They don't gaslight you or make excuses why it's okay to treat you that way, or to invalidate your feelings and to, you know, ignore them and just continue with their negative behavior. Because those types of people, they may say I'm sorry, but they just keep doing it, you know, and repeating it. And it's because you keep tolerating it, and you keep saying, yeah, okay, I'll be a doormat. Yeah, keep treating me like crap because I love you. I love you. And you can still love them, but you don't have to be in that relationship with them. You can make that choice to say, I'm walking away because I deserve better, and to continue moving forward and to let that go, and don't fall for the excuses and the, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll change, but it never does, and they never do, because they haven't learned their lesson. And if you keep going back, it means that you haven't learned yours either, and you will both keep perpetuating that cycle over and over again. So it takes somebody to say, enough's enough, we need to end this cycle, this repetition that we're stuck in, this rut. And you got to be that one who does it, pile number one. You got to heal from your pain and to grow from that experience, and to not be afraid of letting go and to moving on. You know, you have this beautiful destiny that's awaiting you on the path ahead. Let's take a look at your tarot real quick. Get a couple of these cards. Pile number 1. What's going on in the emotional body here? I won't get too many of these cards because I feel like your reading has been very straightforward. Okay, never mind. We got a whole bunch of messages. We've got the 4 of Wands. Security, stability. We have the 3 of Cups. Nice. Community, working together to build something, to create that solid foundation. That's what you want. That's the healing. We have the 9 of Cups. Yeah. Appreciating what you have created here. Knowing that you have that solid foundation. Oh, we have the 8 of Wands. This is fast forward movement here. This wants to come in. Here, let me put this down. This is what's on the path ahead for you. A solid foundation. Walking away from this is what is going to open up for you. And it's going to move quickly as soon as you make that choice. We have the Knight of Wands. Beautiful. A lot of strength, courage, fearlessness here. We have the 3 of Pentacles. Wow. Okay, so we have the 3 of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles. Yeah. Emotional satisfaction. And you got the Empress. Beautiful. Creating the life of your dreams. Knowing your worth and your value. The 7 of Cups, these are choices and decisions. You have to decide what's good for you and what's bad for you, and only you can do that. And you have to take, we have the 7 of Swords, take from the experience everything that you have learned going forward into this beautiful path ahead that's waiting for you. So you need to have that courage to face the fears, to face your doubts, to shine a light on that painful past, on your fears, so that you can embrace this beautiful, happy celebration that's waiting for you. Solid foundation where you feel loved, you feel supported. There's a beautiful community of people who want to help you, who want to surround you. But you have to let go of these this codependency on this old version. This old version of yourself needs to be healed and loved so that you can step into this beautiful, abundant path where you do feel supported, where you feel nurtured, where you have people in your life who are like rooting for you and they're celebrating you, and they see what you have created for, you know, the life that you created for yourself, and you can be proud of it as well. But you have to be able to, you'll be able to discern between those types of people because you now know what that looks like, right? Once you heal from this, you'll know a narcissist from a mile away. Your red flags will be going off, your intuition will be sounding off, your gut instincts are like, nope, they're lying, nope, they're pretending to be something that they're not, they're telling you one thing and they're doing something different. You'll be able to discern now between the types of relationships that are beneficial for you and ones that just want to take from you. All right, which means that lesson learned, and you will heal, and going forward you'll have more confidence in yourself and your abilities to have that the life and the relationship that you deserve, and you will bring that healing to your family, to the future generations, and you will also bring healing to the ancestors that have come before you that didn't have that strength and that courage to end those types of relationships. So the healing that you do on yourself is the healing that you do for your ancestors and future generations. And then you set that new tone for what love is, you know, for your children. All right, I'm going to get you a final message from your heart here. Pile number 1. Alright, here we go. We have believe. Be open to all possibilities and opportunities. Let go of preconceived ideas. There is nothing to fear. You are constantly surrounded by love. Start to believe in yourself and trust your instincts. Wondrous possibilities and opportunities abound. Provided that you are flexible and retain an open heart and mind. Believe that all is possible. I love that. This is about you believing in yourself, you know, and knowing in your worth and your abilities to create the life of your dreams, to have the relationship of your dreams, the one that feels very loving and kind and appreciative, because you yourself have learned to love yourself more, so that you don't allow people to cross those boundaries and those lines that you have set up, okay? Because you will be teaching them how to treat you by walking away from somebody that doesn't want to treat you to the standards that you've set for yourself going forward, okay? All right, pile number 1, this was your reading. I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you all for being in the temple with me today. Please like and subscribe to my channel. If you like my readings, comment below if you feel like sharing your story, or just let me know that this reading resonated with you. I'm sending y'all lots of love. Take care and have a blessed day. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. Today we are taking a look at your emotional body to see what's going on in there. And you were drawn to this card, and it says, look inside yourself. Examine what is causing you to feel this way. All right. Let's go ahead and pull some cards for you guys. Pile, okay. Yours are coming out immediately. Pile number 2, what's going on? Messages from the emotional body. Ooh, feeling that one, this one. We'll get a couple oracle cards, and then we'll pull some tarot just to confirm where you're at. Pile number 2. Ooh. All right. That's a lot of messages. We'll stop here. All right. Look inside yourself and see what's causing you to feel that way. Beautiful. This aligns with the emotional body. We have closed off and guarded. So something that's stopping you from receiving. We have resistance, pride, defensive, wounded warrior. And we have structure, foundation. Wants to build a foundation of balance, building slow and steady and forming. So, okay, typically our foundation starts with our childhood, right? It is where we learn to provide for ourselves, how to get our needs met, what love looks like, what it feels like, etc. And we have fate and fortune. Wheel of Fortune, karma cycles, divine intervention, and divine detours. Okay. Be straight. Wheel. Something about karma coming through here. We have courage and wild. Freeing yourself from something here. So there's a wound within. I feel like it definitely had something to do with childhood wounds here with the foundation. Something that happened that made you shut down, that made you feel like you needed to be on guard and protect yourself. Like you had to be very watchful, very alert, constantly looking over your shoulder. Yeah, it made you very fearful. Okay, let me see. We have soften the armor. What once protected you may now be holding you back. Let your heart breathe without defense. Okay, yeah. Okay, so something happened in the past that made you feel like you You weren't very protected. And it has made you now in your later years feel like you needed to protect yourself because there wasn't somebody there who was protecting you from whatever made you feel that you needed the protection, right? This could be somebody attacking you, somebody who's hurting you, somebody calling you names, or feeling like maybe the household was always in an uproar, or there was somebody who was violent, somebody who was addicted, whatever the case may be. You didn't feel safe. You didn't feel protected. You didn't feel like your needs were being met in whatever way, and it caused you to shut down and to feel like you had to be always on guard, always on the lookout, always, maybe you push people away, you have a hard time letting people in. You just kind of, with the wild card coming through, I feel like you have a hard time settling down and trusting people. And it has caused and prevented you from actually finding your true love, or having relationships, connecting to people. It may have cut you off. You may have cut yourself off from others without realizing it. And your guidance here is your heart wants to receive love and your inner child. There's some healing of the inner child, of course, when we deal with our emotional bodies. So there's a wound that wants to be healed, and your heart wants to receive love without feeling like you have to constantly be on the defense and looking for danger or looking for people to attack you. We have embrace soul transformation. Transformation isn't easy, but it's necessary. Embrace the changes that lead you to your higher self. So you're being asked to go within and to kind of just isolate yourself a little bit, even though I know you probably have already been in a state of isolation because you are a little closed off from others. But there's a reason why, and it's because you don't feel safe. You don't feel very trusting, of other people because you've been hurt. So, but I feel like right now your heart is guiding you. Like now is the time for you to go within and to reflect on those experiences and to bring some healing, love into those spaces where you have felt lonely, or where you felt, that you needed to protect yourself, like there wasn't somebody who was protecting you. And you're being asked to have the courage to shine your light on those wounds and to bring them to the light, bring them to love, and to learn to love yourself and to trust yourself. We have movement, yes. You're being asked to let go and to move forward. We have success, beautiful. And we have creativity. All right, so this is part of your destiny. What you went through was designed, it was planned, it was part of your contract, why you came here. You came here to experience these traumas or these wounds for a reason, for a purpose. When it's, what is that saying, where, where the wound is, where the crack or the break is where the light is meant to enter. And there are gifts waiting for you in those places. This is where your power comes from, is from those wounds. And when we learn from those experiences, there's nothing that can stop us, nothing that can hold us back, because we've learned from those experiences. And we learn through the contrast, through not having, we learn what we want, by not having those needs met or not feeling protected. We learn how to protect ourselves, how to set boundaries for ourselves, how to be more perceptive of other people's actions and motives, because a lot of time people, they're not very forthcoming with their true intentions, and so I feel like it has taught you a lot about being a witness to, or being more observant of other people, so that you can discern between someone who is truthful and honest, And so you're being asked to soften that armor some, to allow people in, to allow the light in, to allow love in, so that you can transform that experience in the past, that so that you're not constantly looking over your shoulder for like the shoe to drop, you know, or for something bad to happen. Because if that's your focus, you end up creating that for yourself, you know, because that is your belief that something bad's going to happen, or it's your belief that you know, you don't deserve good things, or that you can't have healthy relationships. All right, so you have the success and creativity coming through, and some movement. So something's coming in for you, all right? You have to embrace this transformation. You have to heal this wound, because from that experience, you will become something new. You will be creating something new for yourself. You're going to be very successful at it, whatever you choose to do. Let me see what your other cards say. We have letting go of urgency, surrender, freedom from time constraints. So some of you may feel like you're behind in some way. A lot of clocks on the wall. Now I just feel like you're somebody who's very observant, or you feel like you have something to prove. You have to prove your worth and prove your value because of this experience that you had. Slow and steady wins the race, pile number 2. You don't have to rush to get this done. You don't have, there's no rushing and healing, all right? It may have been something that you may have tried that you thought that you were over, and it's coming back up for you to examine again. It doesn't mean that you didn't do the work. It's just that, you know, healing isn't linear. It's not one and done. Sometimes we cycle back through those experiences because there's more information that we need to gather from that experience. You know, there's something else that we may have missed it, we may have overlooked it, or we weren't ready to heal the full thing completely. And so it's just reminders of how far you've come along your path, you know, where you've been, what you've been through, and then reminding you of your strength and your ability to overcome, you know, and to learn to trust and to give yourself, you know, love and support through your journey where you may have felt like there was a lack of that. It's just guiding you to give yourself more of what you feel like you don't have. We have the family tree with expansion and legacy. Yeah, I definitely felt that this was something from passed down generationally here. But you can bring that healing because of what you've experienced. This is part of your destiny here. You can bring that love and that support and that protection to your children going forward. This is your, yeah, it's part of your destiny. Your plan was to go through that experience so that you have experienced it and your children don't, because we learn through example. We learn what we want and what we don't want from our experiences. And you are learning, you know, as a child, this is what I went through, and I don't want that for my children. And so I'm going to change that. I'm going to heal that, and I'm going to bring something new into my family. I'm going to take what I liked in my family, and I'll bring that forward. But this experience that I had, I didn't like that. It taught me a lot about, you know, myself and about my worth. And I don't want anybody who I bring into this world to have that experience. So it ends with me. But just because we choose to bring that forward, we have to heal that wound first. You know, there has to be a healing that comes so that we don't bring that forward. Because if we haven't learned from it, then we may be prone to bringing it forward unconsciously and doing it ourselves. We have to bring our awareness to those moments and bring light. Light is our awareness. It's our perspective. It's us shining our consciousness onto the parts of us that have been wounded in the past, and having the courage to face those fears, to face those wounds, and to bring healing. So there may have been a feeling of a lack of worth, a lack of value, and that you had to constantly prove yourself all the time, prove your worth, prove your value. And the guidance that's coming through here is that you don't have to prove your worth and your value. You were already loved just as you are, even if it didn't come from your family at the time. It's something that the divine knows about you and believes about you. We are all worthy to the divine. We are all parts of the divine. We are born worthy. We are born unconditionally loved, by the divine creator, by God. And this was part of your destiny, was to experience this so that you can bring your light and your love into your family moving forward, and to heal perhaps the ancestors that came before you. You're here to bring that light. Look at that, up from the depths, release difficulty. Yeah, it's time for you to move forward. And so we have this person who's ascending along the steps, moving into the light. It's time for you to come out of that wound and to step into the light and to transform, to open your heart, to receive that healing, to receive that love, to receive the light bulb. Yeah, it's time to move on. We have beneath the surface, there's hidden truths, something unknown. And look, see, there's this iceberg, right? And we only see the surface of it. But underneath, there's this big, huge iceberg that's sitting underneath there that we can't see. Do I see that? That's it. There's something that needs to come up from the surface, from beneath the surface, sorry. There's something that's foundational within you that needs to be healed so that you can heal your family and bring that loving light energy forward. Things need to change. And you're here to bring that change. You're here to change the pattern, to bring your love and your heart into this situation. All right, let's take a look at your tarot. Let's take all three of those. Let's see. Yeah, we have the Seven of Wands on the defense here. Trying to protect yourself. And we have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, protecting. The Nine of Cups is somebody who's created, an abundant life for themselves. And we have the Page of Swords. Yeah, having the courage to speak your truth. There's a message that may be coming in for you that's going to come from your heart here. We have the Three of Wands. Okay. Something moving forward. We have him looking at his clock. Yeah, I feel like you are somebody who's very scheduled. You're very structured. Probably because in your childhood, maybe there was constant movement, or you never know what was going to happen from day to day, so you didn't feel that stability. And so you're wanting to create that stability in your life. You want to feel safe, you want to feel secure, you want to feel loved, you want to feel protected. And it's something that you're meant to create for yourself, because you didn't have that. So there's this strong urgency to have that in your life. Yeah, we have the Nine of Wands, the defense here, and we have the Four of Swords. Yeah, you just want to rest. You want to enjoy your life. The Nine of Wands is somebody who's worked very hard. Very hard creating a life for themselves. And there's like this final lesson here. But also, I feel like, yeah, your ship's going to come in. This success is coming in where you can rest, where you can enjoy, where you can receive, all right? And I think that's what you need to learn, is to receive. Because in your childhood, in the past, you weren't able to receive. You know, you were closed off because you didn't feel very safe. And so it made you protect the heart, guard your heart, and cut off, you know, that receiving energy of receiving love, of receiving, you know, good things in your life, of receiving, you know, success or love, receiving compliments, receiving, you know, just blessings in general. Whatever it is that you feel like there was a lack of, that is what's going to come in for you with the Three of Wands. This is, you know, the ship's coming in. It's time. It's time for you to feel like you can lay that sword down, you know, and to rest and to receive, because you are worthy and deserving of it, pile number 2. You just have to have the courage to go within and to reflect and understand, you know, your own emotions and where they come from. Why do I feel this way? And to comfort yourself in those expressions that are coming through, because at that moment in time, as a young person, you know, there's no way we have the tools to understand our experience and what we're going through. You know, we don't have the emotional awareness or maturity to handle those situations. And so as we get older, we almost end up creating a life that's built off of those experiences, you know, where it just keeps repeating over and over in time, and that ghost seems to follow us around wherever we're going, you know, and you keep looking over your shoulder for it to, you know, come and get you because you're afraid. And the guidance is to shine your light on it, turn around and face it, question it, ask it, you know, what do you want me to see? What do you want me to feel? What do I need to release so I can let go and move forward and create the life that I'm, you know, that I want to live, the life that I'm meant for? You know, show me, what do I need to feel so I can embrace it, validate it, and understand it, so I'm no longer creating from an unconscious place. You know, I don't want to create from my wound. I want to create from my trust, from my heart going forward, okay? Because you have success, right? And you will be successful in releasing this energy. And you will be able to create that life for yourself. You will be able to free yourself from the things that are holding you back, that are preventing you from living your life, you know, where you feel loved and supported. All right, let me get you some final messages, pile number 2. These are some heart prayers. We have Star. Believe in yourself. You are a wonder of creation. Wash away all fear and discover that you are a shining star. Allow all around you to just be. Let go of trying to control life, for the light of your soul will guide you always towards love. Remember, stars are born through explosions of love. Love illuminates all things. Never forget that you are truly a shining star. Oh, that's so beautiful. See, and you're being asked to see the light within yourself, to see your potential, and to let go of trying to control everything and trying to, you know, hold on so tightly or to prove your worth and your value. You already are. You are this beautiful star, this beautiful light. You are meant to be a guide for others. You have to know your worth and your value, and to let go of any of these doubts that you have about who you are because of what you experienced, okay? That's not your truth. You are not what you experienced. They're there to teach you. We're always learning through these experiences. We're learning what we prefer and what we don't want, you know? And then when we feel that lack, it's something that we have to learn to give to ourselves, so that we no longer have a void within. We give it to ourselves first. And we learn to receive from our own heart, from our own light, and that growth within expands, and then it shines out forward, because we then learn to be receiving. We learn to go with the flow. We learn to trust. We learn to surrender, and we let go of the pain so that we can embrace the love that's waiting for us on the other side of that, okay? All right, pile number 2, this was your reading. Thank you all so much for being in the temple with me today. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you resonate with these readings, or comment below if you feel like sharing your story, or just let me know that this reading resonated with you. All right, I'm sending y'all lots of love. Take care and have a blessed day. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So today we're taking a look at your emotional body, and you were drawn to this card here. And it says, "My beloved, though we may be physically apart, spiritually we are always united. For love transcends space and time. Nothing is missing." Okay. So this could be your connection to yourself. It can also be connection to a relative who's passed on, or your soulmate here. All right, let's go ahead and we'll pull a few cards for you guys, and then we'll look at the tarot. Messages for pile number 3. What's going on in the emotional body? So yeah, I feel like there is a void space within, or something that you feel is missing in your life, or you could be missing someone. Let's see those two. Pile number 3. Saw this one as well. Those two and the top one. Okay. Alright, let's see what we have. We have family foundation. Okay. Commitment, hope, marriage, celebration, and security. And we have inner child here. Wounding, coping mechanisms, learned behaviors, self-discovery, and trust in divine time. Oh, so some of you have been wanting to have a family of your own. And perhaps you feel like, yeah, that you are behind in some way because this hasn't happened for you. Let me see. We have the wild card coming through. And courage. Wow, these came through with pile number 2, just in a different order. And we have soulmate. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like some of you have been, you know, on the journey solo for a while, and there's a little bit of fear that, or doubt that you're not going to have it, or that you're not worthy and deserving of having this love in your life, and you feel like there's this void within, you know, and we have this person, yeah, like you're looking, you're searching for that one, and wondering where they are. And we have trust in the divine timing, all right? Greater forces are at play. Release the need to control. All is working out for the highest good. And so here's the thing about, you know, it's a lot of, when we feel like we don't have something, that there's a void within us, and we're constantly searching outside of ourselves for it, we're telling the universe that we don't have. And so it's a vibration that you're emitting, and you're putting it out there where you're exerting energy looking for something, you know, scouting it out, shining your light out there, and you know, constantly seeking something in the physical world. And it's something that comes from within, all right? And the guidance is to shine your light inwards, to turn the light in the opposite direction, and to focus on love for yourself, and affirmations of I am loved, I am worthy, even saying things like I'm grateful for the love that I have in my life, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my stability. There may be some inner child wounds here that make you feel like you're not good enough, that you're not worthy, that you're not going to have, that you're behind in some kind of way, or that if you don't have it by you know, the person in your life by this amount of time, that you're never going to have it. And it has to do with self-love here, pile number 3, where you search outside for something that needs to come from within by learning to love yourself, and that there's nothing missing in your life. You're not losing out on love and having love, even though it feels that way. And it feels that way because you believe that. And so what has to happen is you have to change that belief system. There's something that happened in your childhood, something in your family, that made you feel like, and I'm not seeing the father here, I just keep seeing the mother and the children, but I don't see the father. So this may be where your father wasn't around much in your childhood, and so there's this feeling that you're going to be alone, that you're not worthy, that you're not deserving of love. So I feel like there was something in the foundation here that didn't feel completely solid, and maybe your mom grew up as a single mother and you're afraid that that's going to be something that is going to happen to you, and it may be where you're constantly seeking that validation for that love outside of yourself, because that's what you were taught. That was the foundation here. Let me see what else we have. We have soften the armor. This came out in the last reading. What once protected you may now be holding you back. Let your heart breathe without defenses. Let's see the other one. Reap what you sow. The energy you put out will return to you. Choose wisely, as you will reap what you sow. Okay. So kind of like what I was saying earlier, when you are projecting to the world that you don't have, and you're telling the universe, I don't have love in my life, I don't have somebody to support me, I don't have my soulmate, I don't have my family, like the universe isn't going to respond with, oh, well, let me give you that because you're saying you don't have. It's going to mirror back to you what you believe and what you feel, and it doesn't discern between it. It's, you know, it's energy, and so it just reciprocates the energy that you vibrate at. It just reflects to you what your vibrational state is, what your beliefs are. It just reflects that to you. So what you have to do is to go within and self-reflect. Go within and see, where does this wound come from? Where did this belief come from? Enter into the heart space and shine your light. Look within to see where that void came from. Where did that belief come from? And then fill that void with your love, you know? So if it was in your childhood where you didn't feel loved and supported, you have to go to those moments and be that supportive friend that you needed. Be that parent that you needed. You know, scoop that version of yourself up and give yourself a hug. Let them cry. Let them release the feelings that they have. Let them share their insecurities and their fears and their doubts with you, and validate them, but then give them that confidence and that courage to say it's okay, and tell them that you love them and that they deserve this and that they're gonna have it because you're there supporting them, you know, and like hold your own hand, become your own best friend, become your own soulmate, and realize that you don't, everything that you give yourself is something that the universe wants to reward you with as well. You know, you love yourself, and you are your own best friend, and you're going to meet people who love and support you and want to be your best friend as well, because you believe that you're worthy and deserving of that. You have to pour into your cup your belief systems, right? So I believe I'm worthy. I know I deserve to have the love of my life. The love of my life is on the way to me. I'm going to start, you know, you have to believe it, and you have to trust that the divine is going to bring you what you believe, you know, and what you, it's like, how can I give you an example? If you are, let's say you have low standards and you're not setting healthy boundaries for yourself, people are going to constantly push those boundaries and overstep them and treat you poorly because you have low self-esteem, and so it's like you feel like you don't have something, so you're willing to take crumbs, you know, you're willing to take whatever anybody gives you just to feel loved and alive, and you deserve more than that. Pile number 3, you deserve somebody who makes you feel loved wholly and completely and has respect for you. But if you are not setting that boundary for yourself that says, this is what I worth, this is what I'm worth, this is what I deserve, and I don't want to tolerate, just crumbs. I want the whole loaf of bread. And I'm going to love myself enough to say no when somebody's trying to offer me these little crumbs, because I know my worth and my value, and I love myself. I'm not going to tolerate somebody treating me like crap, because I am lovable. You have to love yourself and be your own cheerleader, be your own soulmate, have that connection to yourself first. And once you establish that solid connection to your truth, to who you really are, you don't need outside validation, you know what I mean? And then anything that comes into your reality is something that's going to be beneficial to you. It's going to add on to the love that you have now created for yourself, within yourself. But you have to love yourself first. You have to love yourself enough to say no and to walk away from people who want to just manipulate you, take advantage of you, walk all over you. You have to say no to those energies and say, no, universe. I love myself enough to know my value and my worth. And so I'm going to wait for that love to come into my reality, because I'm not just settling for crumbs anymore. We have hunger. Yeah, this is the void you feel within. And we have surrender, sadness. Okay. So yeah, you feel this, it comes from somewhere in your childhood, right? This is where the wound entered, and that's what needs to be released. You need to release that sadness, that lack, that void that you've had in your life, and to fill your cup. And it's sad, because I completely, my heart goes out to you. Anybody who's had to be raised by a single parent, there's always that, feeling of not being good enough because the other parent wasn't there, and it's because your parents couldn't get along, or whatever their own situations were. It had nothing to do with you, right? And not to take it personal. This was their path, their choices, and let that be on them. Let that be their own karma, and let yourself release those feelings that you may have about not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, and then give yourself the biggest hug. Comfort yourself, comfort that inner child that felt alone, that didn't feel good enough, that didn't feel loved and supported the way it needed to, right? And then comfort yourself and say, I'm going to do that for me. I'm going to make sure that I feel safe and protected and good enough, because I'm not going to let anybody treat me like that anymore. I love me. I love you. It's okay. You have to become your own, best friend. And then when you do that, you no longer need to look outside of yourself. Anything that comes in, and anyone that comes into your life who loves and supports you that way, it's just going to be extra, so you don't have this void anymore, because you've learned to love yourself and to give it to yourself. And the more you pour into your cup, the more you love yourself, the more people will come into your life that love you and respect you and match that vibration, that match that reality that you're creating for yourself. We have conscious steps, considered action, and looking forward, okay? You have to let this go. Let those emotions go. Let that fear go by acknowledging it, comforting it, validating it, and then making conscious choices going forward, okay? We have thought vibrations, nice. Resonant choices and signature signals. This is about shifting your vibration, shifting your frequency from a place of lack to a place of abundance. I am grateful for the love I have in my life. I am grateful for the people in my life that support me. And when you focus on that gratitude of what you have, it opens the door to receive more, because you're telling the universe, I love this in my life. I love having people in my life who support me. I love having the man of my dreams, having the woman of my dreams. I love people who reflect to me the love that I am, the love that I deserve. It's staying in that positive mindset and that gratitude mindset, because then that opens the door of possibilities. So you're no longer projecting from your mind of, I don't have, and when am I going to have it, or I'm not good enough, I'm alone, I don't have this, I don't have this, where your focus is on the lack, you shift your focus to I have, and I am, and I deserve, and it's coming, and being conscious of those thoughts, being conscious of your feelings, understanding where those feelings come from, and then shifting that vibration into, oh, I am grateful for this, and I love this, and I appreciate this, and more of that will start to come into your reality versus the lower vibrational things, because you're shifting your focus to the higher vibrational things. And then the universe will match that. Look, I love that we have mindfulness, peaceful presence, and quiet mind. Yeah, you have to quiet the mind down, because the mind is fearful. The mind needs to know. It wants to know, when's it going to happen? How's it going to happen? It wants all the details, right? And there's a lot that we're not allowed to know. And this is about quieting that mind and comforting that inner child, comforting your heart and focusing on your heart and knowing that nothing is missing. You have everything you need within you. You just have to fill your cup. You have to turn to your heart and to acknowledge, you know, where there is sadness and where does it come from, and questioning it. Why do I feel this way? Why do I believe this about myself? Is this my truth? You know, getting to know yourself on a deeper level, and then shifting your focus and being more conscious of your thoughts and quieting that mind so that you have a stronger connection to your truth. All right, spend some time in nature, doing some things that help, you know, meditating, whatever helps you to calm that mind down so that you can be in a more reflective, receiving energy. All right, when we're projecting and we're searching, we end up pushing the energy away. So if you're constantly searching for that person and looking out there for them, you're putting an energy out there that pushes, where you're chasing. And what you want to do is you want to reverse the energies. You want to be on your throne, in your heart, knowing, believing that that person's coming into your life, that they're on their way, that they're moving towards you, because you're focusing on I have and I am, and that creates the energy. It changes the direction of being in flow, of receiving. You want to be in receiving mode, not chasing mode, because that pushes it away. So you want to pause, you want to shift and focus your light inwards so that you pull love in. Pull it into your heart and know that you're worthy and that you are deserving. Stay in that grateful gratitude that keeps you in receiving mode, that it's coming in. I'm pulling it into my heart. I'm pulling it into my reality because I'm focusing on what I have. All right, let's take a look at the tarot. Pile number 3. Can we get some messages? Let's see what's going on in the emotional body. We have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, protecting what you have created, protecting yourself, you know, from people who want to just take from you and use you, and learning to have healthier boundaries, knowing you deserve. Let me see. Let me double check this. Your wands here. Yeah, this is the, you know, the final struggle to overcome. You're at the finish line here, you know. Trust and belief is required right now, and you're being asked not to give up. You're almost at the end of this cycle, you know, and you have to trust in that divine timing, that they will come in, that this person will come in, that your wishes and your desires, your dreams. Oh yes, and we have the Star, your dreams, your wish, your, you know, that part of you that feels lost, you're rediscovering your truth, your worth. Ooh, and you have the Ace of Swords, nice, yeah. You know, the Ace of Swords is like a new understanding, new awareness, new perceptions, your truth, discovering your truth, your passion. We got the Wands and we have the Sword. Yeah, you're gonna see things more clearly. And we have the Three of Cups. Yes, there will be a means to celebrate. Look at these people who are supportive, supporting this journey that you're going on. We have the Judgment. Yes, this is like the wake-up call. This is the end of feeling, you know, lack in any kind of way. Ooh, we have the Page of Cups. Yes, I love it. This is new love, hopes, dreams, a new emotional awareness here. The Page of Cups can also be a young love, you know. I definitely feel like this is a new heart connection here. I feel like you're going to be learning to love yourself in a different kind of way and learning your truth. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. Yes, the Nine of Pentacles is somebody who is enjoying the fruits of their labor. You will be on the path of abundance, of happiness, things that make you feel supported, financially secure, or just stable in general, where you no longer feel lack anymore. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful confirmation here. Yeah, you're going to be discovering parts of yourself that you may have left behind. And this is the end before the beginning. And we have this trust in divine timing. Everything that's happening is happening for your highest good. You know, you're learning something. You're learning to love yourself. You're learning to trust. You're learning to be receptive, to receive, knowing what you don't want from your experiences. Ooh, my little angel fell over. All right, we have conflict. Feelings which you have suppressed for a very long time are yearning to be acknowledged and expressed. You are torn between who you think, what you think is the right thing to do and what your heart wants. And this is the primary cause of stress in your life. We, your angels, urge you to follow your heart, do what you love, and not what you think you should. Ooh, okay, you're being asked to follow your heart and not the mind, you know. Because like I said, the mind can be very fearful. It wants to keep us in our safety zone, you know, our comfort zone, and it wants to know the hows and the whys and the what ifs. But the heart knows, the heart trusts, the heart believes, the heart wants to feel secure and stable. And it wants to nurture that mind. So that's what you, guidance coming through is to nurture your mind so that it's not coming from a fearful place of feeling lack in any kind of way. You listen to the heart and you fill your heart with positive affirmations of I am worthy, I am deserving, I am loving, I am receiving love, I am meeting the love of my life. The love of my life is on their way. They're coming. I can feel them, you know, getting into that positive mindset, but understanding where those fearful thoughts originated from, and then nurturing them and comforting them and giving them positive affirmations and shoring them up so that the mind's not dictating and controlling you, okay? And the mind doesn't trust, but the heart does. Let me get you one final one. Because the conflict comes from the heart and the mind not being on the same page. And you want to get the heart and the mind working together. And that's how we heal the ego, and we heal those wounds, because we understand them. All right. One more card for pile number 3. Okay, we have Star. Ooh, this one came out in the last pile. Believe in yourself. You are a wonder of creation. Wash away all fear and discover that you are a shining star. Allow all around you to just be. Let go of trying to control life, for the light of your soul will guide you always towards love. Remember, stars are born through explosions of love. Love illuminates all things, and never forget that you are a shining star. Ooh, beautiful. You are a shining star, and you deserve to have the love of your life. You deserve to have people in your life who love you, who you can surround yourself with, who are supporting, who care about, you know, you in a loving way, okay? But you have to care for yourself in that loving way first, so that more of those energies can come in, okay? All right, pile number 3, this was your reading. Thank you all so much for being here in the temple with me today. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you like my readings. Comment below if you feel like sharing your story, or just let me know that this reading resonated with you. I'm sending y'all lots of love. Y'all take care and have a blessed day.